Top of it, y'all. It's your boy, Coach One Stack, man. We tapped in, man. And it's been a hell of a, month, man, because, man, it's a lot of people coming up out the closet. It's a lot of secrets being exposed. It's a lot of, like, effery going on around this joint, man. But before I get into this video about how Jada Smith reveals how she caught Will blowing Bryshere Grays back out, hey, man, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and smash the notification bell, y'all. I like to bring y'all this raw content. I don't want to make this video too long, you dig? Now the cold part about the whole Bryshere Gray incident is what you guys don't understand about this pedophile stuff is they pass people around, just like they did Bryshere Gray. He has his manager, Charlie Mack. Well, that used to be Will's mentor back in the day. So do you find it odd that Charlie Mack is the one who introduced Bryshere Gray to Will and Diddy, and they turned him out and taught him how to freak off? And even Bryshere Gray was freaking off with his own manager, Charlie Mack. It's like they getting these young dudes, man, and then they go off and get married. And they have nothing but legal problems. They're constantly going to jail. If you do your history, man, when you look at these young men like Bryshere Gray, Usher, Justin Bieber, look at these dudes, man. When somebody have played with their manhood, Meek Mill, somebody played with their manhood, you got to understand, when somebody making you bend over and submit, mentally, it has to be hard for you to tell a woman to bend over and submit. And as we know, Will Smith likes to bend over and submit. But man, Jada's caught Will doing all kind of things. But see, the thing is, she ain't squeaky clean either. You know what I'm saying? Because Brother Bilal dropped all that info. Y'all need to go watch some of my videos, man, and rewind. Can you dig it? But Bryshere Grays went through a lot, man. Right now the man's doing Twitter X. I heard the man has an OnlyFans for the rainbow side. I don't know. They said there's videos of him using his finger right there in the back of himself and messing with men. And that's because that's what he got turned out to, thanks to Will Smith and Diddy. But I'm going to tell you somebody else who Will Smith turned out, Tevin Campbell. That's right. Will Smith and Quincy Jones turned out Tevin Campbell. So I'm 49. A lot of y'all young kids, y'all don't even know who Tevin Campbell is. But man, let me get done talking, man. Let me show y'all a little video so I can come back and really kick it with you and tell you what's going on in this industry and what's going on in this world, man. Because y'all shouldn't find it as no surprise. Because you go check out my other video, Diddy just came out the closet, in his legal paperwork. So it's not alleged anymore. He came out the closet with the whole Jonathan Hayes situation. He said that he wanted it. And I wouldn't be surprised when it comes down to Bryshere Gray and Will Smith, when Bryshere Gray decides to file some charges, Will gonna say, well, he wanted it. He was a willing participant. Because we all know Will Smith was alleged of touching Jaden Smith. And we know that hurt people hurt people. And so it's just this big cycle of touching and touching. I want y'all to let me know in the comments, man, if anybody's battling with this kind of stuff that they've been touched or anything like that and need some help. If you do, man, tap in with your boy. Let me show y'all this video.
Things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce.
Somebody stole 2 hard drives from Jada's house. So now we get into why she's even more mad. Jada was coming out.
Who else did you see allegedly on the tapes?
Tyrese with Will and Jada. Then the one with Charlie Mack and Will. Jada's not on it, but you can hear her say, make him spit up.
Bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, times, and, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
Watching him, he's with my man Charlie Mack. So Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business.
Charlie been blowing Will back out for 30 years.
By a whole lot of strength.
Charlie been blowing Will back out for 30 years, y'all.
And all he has to do is add discipline.
40 years, has sued his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, saying that she threatened to end his life. Now, Jada has said she was going to sue him first, but apparently...
Wait, did Jada confess to Will inappropriately messing with Bryshere when he was just 17? This was a shock to everyone, because she was threatening to sue and unalive people for speaking against Will. But now she's doing the same thing. It looks like she is finally realizing that this isn't a fight she can win. And people are saying she's trying to get ahead of it by throwing Will under the bus. Mind you, she didn't do this when Will was allegedly touching Jaden, but all of a sudden she wants to expose him now because the truth is already coming out? Girl, please. Now, for those of y'all wondering what reason Jada will have to abandon Will Smith after riding with him for this long, well, it all has to do with the recent allegations that have been stacking up against him. Initially, people were unsure whether to take the allegations seriously because they thought these people were clout chasing. But at some point, they were just like, hold up, everyone cannot be telling the same lie. The first allegation was about Bryshere, and unless you've been living under a rock, then you have probably heard a little something about it. Word on the street is Bryshere was given to Will and Diddy by his manager, Charlie Mack, for mentorship, but the mentorship turned into brutal daily freak-off sessions, and once they had their fun with him, they allegedly silenced him and forced him out of the industry. Now, as we speak, Bryshere is on Twitter posting explicit content that I cannot even post here. The man is a full-blown gay corn star, posting videos every day of him having intimate relations with gay men and trans women. If you want to see the videos, I suggest you go on his over to Twitter because it's all there. Anyway, people believe whatever Will and Diddy allegedly introduced him to was probably where his love for gay freak-offs and recording them came from. I mean, if the rumors are true, then everything we are seeing him do now is just a repetition of the freak-offs. Some people even claim he started his career as a way to reclaim his power in the freak-offs, after being forced into doing it for so long. You see, even before Bryshere got into this, his career was already falling apart. He got into multiple legal troubles and was arrested multiple times. In 2019, Bryshere was arrested in Chicago after being stopped by police who found that he was driving with no insurance and no valid driver's license/registration. He was booked on a misdemeanor related to vehicle registration and released on his own recognizance. Fast forward to 2020. Police in Goodyear, Arizona responded to a 911 call from Bryshere's then wife, alleging she had been assaulted. Bryshere refused to exit his home for nearly 9 hours, leading to the involvement of a SWAT team and crisis negotiations unit before he was taken into custody. He was booked on charges including strangulation, DV, and disorderly conduct. He pled guilty to felony aggravated in May 2021 and was sentenced to 10 days in county jail plus 3 years probation. Then, in November 2022, he was arrested after authorities said he violated the terms of his probation from the 2020 DV case. Reports claim the probation violation stemmed from alleged behavior toward another woman and a failure to report incidents to his probation officer. But this wasn't the end of it, y'all. Even in 2025, he was arrested again, and you will not believe the reason he was arrested. It went down on June 15th, 2025, when he was arrested in Chesapeake, Virginia, on a misdemeanor battery charge following an alleged altercation during a hotel dispute with a man identified as Dustin Chosen Wilkins. A warrant was issued, and he was taken into custody before posting bond. But he argued the arrest, claiming he needed mental help, not jail. Now, as I said, people believe that Will and Jada are responsible for this, and that Jada is throwing Will under the bus now to save herself. Jaguar said Jada knew that Will was allegedly touching on Jaden when he was just 15, but she kept quiet about it because she didn't want everyone to know the kind of man Will truly is. And remember everything I said earlier about Jada suing and threatening people's lives because they were talking about her and Will? Well, that person is Will's alleged former assistant, Bilal. Right after this interview dropped,
See, and Brother Bilal, man, they seen it all. Because in case y'all don't know, man, Brother Bilal, that's Will Smith's friend of 40 years. That's who caught Dwayne Martin standing up behind Will in that dressing room, blowing Will back out. Can you dig what I'm saying? And if you see the pattern here, you got hurt people that's hurting people. Charlie Mack was the one that groomed Will, making him spit up, right? Charlie Mack is the one who brought Bryshere Gray to Will and did all of them. But the cold part is Tyrese with his church going butt, man, he in the middle of all this stuff. But I guess y'all didn't know, man. You didn't know Will Smith gave him $5 million for his legal fund when he was broke? Now, what kind of man gives another man $5 million? Oh, my bad. The same kind of man that would give Dwayne Martin $900,000 to buy his house back that he lost from taxes. Hey, man, all I'm saying is it's a whole lot of gay for pay going around this joint, man. Can you dig? And Will got them chips. But the cold part is, it's alleged that it seems like a lot of these actors like Dwayne Wade, Magic Johnson, Will Smith, TD Cakes, Diddy, they all got kids that are with the rainbow community. And they're all accused of touching people. But it seems like everything starts at home. I don't know. What do you think in the comments? Do you think leave in the comments if you think a lot of these stars, actors, whoever, if they're the ones that are breaking their own children in. Leave that in the comments below. But you know the rest, man. Make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I won't tell. Can you dig it? And you know the rest. Be blessed, never stress. Make sure you never get finessed. And make sure you getting plenty of rest. And stay the F out of trouble like Will Smith and Diddy should have. Church.